excited for today's tour. It is something a little bit different, mainly response to my trip to Disney World at the end of November. That obviously cut out a lot of time that I could have been working on normal tours for y'all, so I wanted to try and get ahead of things and still have some content to bring to y'all. So I thought, why don't I take a look at one of my old islands? So yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here. This is Avonlea. This is my Elegant Core island that I finished in September. I was working on it probably since mid-April, so a good while. It's the first island that I ever did on my OLED Switch. Got a second Switch, and because I just wanted to be working those creative juices and working on two islands at once. So this is what I did with it. But anyways, today's tour will sort of be a tour, of course, but also an introspective and look back at things on the island, getting my thoughts on everything. I've always really loved, I've had the opportunity to do it once or twice now with a couple videos to really share some thoughts behind the creation of islands, and I just really love that perspective. So I thought that I would just do one with one of my old islands. It's pretty simple, and it should be fun to see what I still like, you know, looking back, what maybe I don't like as well. So it'll be a fun time. But one thing is for sure, I absolutely love this entrance that I created. I have created about 5 official island entrances, if you will, in the time that I've been seriously decorating an island on Animal Crossing. And this is still probably my favorite entrance, even over the 2 current entrances I have on my 2 islands that I'm working on right now. I think I'm not one for self-praise, that's for sure, but I really feel that this entrance is quite grand. I've seen, some even more grand ones with incredible water swimming and stuff like that. Like, one that just happens to come to mind is an island that was just created by Crossing on Instagram. She just did some brilliant water swimming throughout her island, but especially in the entrance area, it's very grand as well. So I just really, like I said, this is still probably one of my favorite entrances that I've ever done. Interesting facts, this fountain here, I had originally wanted a fountain about that area. I had almost sort of originally envisioned it on its own island, but the problem with that is that the pathing was just, when I was laying it down, I was trying to get this small circular island, and of course, the pathing didn't extend to the edge, so it was not giving me the finished look that I had really wanted for this entrance. So I ended up ditching that idea, just went straight with this sort of little fountain. I don't think the tree was ever involved either. Put the tree there, and I think it's a great focal point. And like I said, I'm very, very proud of this entrance. My water skating skills are still barely limited. Definitely something I'm always working on, trying to improve every single day. But that was pretty good, especially for the time. So we're going to pick up our goodies here, and then we are going to go back to the right. That's kind of just how I sort of worked on the island. The next area that kind of came into being was to the right over here, and then we will sit down, and we'll But yeah, so what I worked on next in the island, like I said, was this plaza-like area over here. Um, is home of Abel's, so I don't know, for some reason I always just place Abel's towards the beginning of when I build islands. Like, I think 4 out of 5 of the islands that I have worked on or I'm currently working on, I've always just placed Abel's pretty quickly. I don't know why. um, it's just, I don't know, love those little hedgehogs so much. I guess I like to get them settled in. But yeah, this was sort of the first area that I worked on. Um, it's an okay area, especially this big open sort of plaza area here. I had originally, oops, take this. Originally sort of envisioned, something more here, because it does seem kind of open and a little bit empty. But I just was struggling with ideas, really. I don't think I even placed like these benches and stuff along the fence over here until close to the end of decorating the island. It was mainly this area that got decorated at first. Fun fact, I designed this dress. I did 3 dresses, the dress on the right. I did 3 dresses for this island, and one of them was sort of almost for a special event that the AC community did in May, I believe it was, so even that's a little bit of a stretch. More like 2 dresses. I had wanted to do a whole collection like I did for Ashland 3.0, and I'm planning on hopefully doing for my current 2 islands. But the inspiration was very lacking, and it was very tough because I did have a very elegant theme in mind with this island, so it was just really tough to get those sort of really fancy dresses. So this was one of my favorite early areas that got decorated. I've seen, peninsula builds before, sort of like this, where you have the lighthouse on the peninsula. I've seen them, but I really did enjoy decorating the peninsula like this. I thought it was really nice. I actually had just a little bit of room for once on a peninsula. So that was quite fun, and it looks even better from down below, I think. So we're gonna venture down to what is one of my favorite beaches. I actually really love probably like most of the beaches on the east side of the island. I really enjoy, and then kind of the west side. The west side beaches were some of the last things I did. So I was running out of steam by then. And there are some nice areas on them for sure that we will get to, but these on this side of the island were some of the first things I did, especially this beach right here. After I finished up Abel's and the lighthouse up there, I went down here and did this beach area, and I still love it. Like I said, one of my favorite beach areas on the island. You can just sit here and listen to the record player and look at the lighthouse. I have some great pictures of this area. I think maybe I got like 1 or 2 at night, and it looks gorgeous then as well. But it looks very lovely in the daylight as well. So I really loved how this area turned out. I loved all the flowers, the wheat fields, but then obviously some more elevated elements to stick with the elegant core theme, like the vase there, and some of the more like glow in the dark items, the Nova light here. Just a great combination, I think, of items, and then of course one of my favorite arches, the plain party arch. I just really love how it turned out, really. And then this little heart pond right here, totally like unintentional. I had just really meant to do just a little pond here, so it could be just a little nice quiet area, like I kind of got set up with the benches. But it just kind of turned into a heart shape because I I wanted some room in the back to put just a little bit of decoration, so that's kind of just what it had to be. Not in love with the custom pathing, how it turned out back here. Again, not the path itself. I love the path, um, but just the way it had to turn out, because obviously you can't, go all the way to the edge. But it is what it is, and it's a nice little area, and it's also a nice little nod to the original map of Avonlea. Originally, there was a very nice heart pond on the other side of the island, about where Ketchup's house was, and I will show you Ketchup's house later. There was a nice, it was bigger than this, obviously, um, but it's sort of a nod to that. Not many people would know that, but that's just, in my mind what it was. It was a little nod to the original um, layout of the island. So down here we have this little beach area. Again, an area I kind of sort of worked on in the end. I had this area, of course, landscaped far, far much earlier in the game, because I did try and make it, a nice view from the land bridge I'll be able to explore in a minute. So there are some nice islands that I wish we could see slightly better, but this is kind of my first time of doing anything sort of like that. So I was pretty happy with how they turned out, especially the decoration on them. But yeah, this beach here itself didn't get decorated towards the end. It was just sitting here for the longest time because I knew I wanted to do something with the area. But this is what it turned into, and it's fairly nice. It's a nice little secret place. I know. I Want Peaches did a lovely, absolutely extraordinary video tour of Avonlea back when it first sort of released. I released the PA, and it is a little bit tough to find the ladder there if you don't know where it's at. So it's a nice sort of hidden place. So I do want to explore this flower field down here. That's why I did sort of include the ladder. I had wanted to put a ladder right here, but it's too close to the beach, so it wouldn't let me. I was like, darn it. But anyways, this is just a lovely little flower field. For the majority of the time I was building Avonlea, this is where I kept a lot of my excess flowers. So as we were getting probably about 80% done with the island, I was like, okay, what are we gonna do? I had originally, for the longest time, just thought I'm just gonna leave this part of the beach blank, which I hate doing. I don't love decorating beaches, but I love just having everything sort of complete. But in the end, I was like, okay, I have excess flowers. I always have too many flowers. So I was like, why don't I do a flower field? I love flower fields. I've done them on land, done them on beaches a couple times now. So that's sort of what it turned into, and like I said, it turned out being another one of my favorite beaches on the island, and honestly one of my favorite areas on the island. I have some lovely photos of this area as well, and I'm sad that I didn't come up with the idea sooner so I could have spent more time with it. But anyways, I did. It's amazing what, your ideas can change, and you can still really love how they turn out. Going from, oh, I think I'm just going to leave that area blank, to turning into this lovely flower field. It's lovely. So we've hit another personal favorite. It was one of my goals on this island to make a land bridge. I hadn't done one in an island up until this point, and I had always wanted to do one because people can make such cool land bridges. So I was like, I need to make one. I have to do one. So this was it. And I quite liked how it turned out. once I started getting getting stuff on it, getting it decorated, did turn out just a little bit smaller than I had hoped, perhaps. But obviously, there's only so much real estate on the island, so I just, I was like, okay, this is oops, what what it is. Um, and it's still very lovely. And like I said, it sort of offers some nice views of the like lake-like area over here, um, especially if we turn our camera. Yeah. So, but this is the land bridge again. One of my one of my favorite spots on the island. Something I just really, really, really wanted to do. So I'm glad that it turned out. And we're done. Oh, I see me up ahead. This is gonna be fun. I hope I'm not wearing the same dress. This is one of two dresses I carried over. Oh, I might be. This is one of two dresses I carried over from Avonlea to Rose Hill, one of the islands I am currently working on right now. Because Rose Hill is also elegant core too, somewhat. So it just went really well. So this is just a little plaza fill area. Again, sort of a bit more empty space than I wanted. But obviously the fountain does take up quite a bit of space, even if it's not looking like it is. Um, so it is what it is. Definitely not one of my favorite areas on the island. Okay, no, I don't think that's the same dress. Hello, me. It's very similar, but it's not the same. Welcome. Thank you. This is weird. I love. I, I've only ever done this one other time with Ashland. It's so freaky visiting yourself. So freaky. Okay, so we have the museum area here. Um, Again, this is an area that's sort of changed with, time from my original thoughts when I was started working with it. At first, I had this area back here, and I was like, what am I gonna do with this area? Because it's a good chunk of land. Um, but I had sort of come to the end of the land bridge, probably had ended right about here. I don't think I had gotten over to landscaping or terraforming over there yet. And so I'm like, what am I gonna do? I need something to do. So I'm like, okay, this might be a nice spot for a museum. It can have its own little plaza area here. Um, so this is sort of how it came into fruition. Again, I had originally sort of envisioned this area being just a little bit bigger, especially the plaza area. Um, but it is quite lovely. Um, got some lovely roses over here. Um, and it's just a very nice area to sit. I mean, you can sit and enjoy the ocean right here. I know it's pretty simplistic and basic probably, but I really love how like this bell turned out over here. And just the way I framed that, that was just something I like in the moment that I was messing around with stuff, because the bell by itself just looked really weird, and I was trying to take up a little bit more space so it didn't seem so empty. So I started playing around with like items that I thought could sort of fence it off, and that's how we got the topiaries here and the plant partitions. Um, so yeah, I really like how that turned out. And then of course I have the sort of medium cedar trees down here. I didn't want them to obstruct the view from like up here. It's a fairly decent view from up there on the plaza of the museum, so I kept them kind of small. But yeah, this is the museum area, and then over here we have a nice beach area. Um, like I said, I do prefer the beaches on this side of the island to the other side. This is probably my least favorite beach on this side, if you will. But there is a nice little picnic area here. You do have to go around to the side here because the festival carousel sort of blocks the way there. And along with the rocks, you can go along the waves. There's a nice little picnic area there. One of the first things I did when decorating this area, because I love picnic areas on the beach. And then we have a lovely little sketching area I just thought this was so cute. I've seen other people do it before, so it's not an original idea. Um, but you know, I just feel like, you know, in when I watch like period pieces or whatever, you know, if they ever have like nice views or whatever, they go on like sketching trips and sketch the landscape. So I thought, you know, this might be a lovely area to do this, to sketch, you know, this nice area. I mean, you even have the mountains and hills of the islands of other islands in the background there on the horizon. So it's a lovely little area, um, and I do really just kind of enjoy it. I thought it was just kind of cute. And again, just a little area back here to sit and relax. One of the things, and this is a very odd observation for this area, so I don't know why I'm remembering it, but one of the things that sticks out in my mind is that it just took me forever to finally get this little beach towel. I hadn't cataloged it or anything like that, and I hadn't done, you know, a ton on the beaches up to that point. So I just remember I kept thinking, I'm like, okay, I need to go get that today. I need to get that. Finally got around to getting it, but it was like one of the last things to be placed on this beach. And like I said, I don't remember why that sticks out in my mind, but it does. Okay, so by me, we are going to wander this way, and we are going to explore some more um, wooded areas back here. Still, you know, I think elegant, lots of flowers, lots of whites and blues, but not quite as sophisticated, perhaps. This is, okay, before we reach Mabel's house there, I love this path. I really, really loved it. When I first got over here, I didn't really have a good, like, um, path besides the stone and the brick. So I was looking for a path that would work well in grass, and it took me a while to narrow it down, but I am so in love with this path, and I'm really glad I picked it. I've even, since, you know, since using it, I've seen quite a few people, like, use it as well. So I feel like I made a safe choice there, because other people use it as well, so it must be good, right? um, but anyway, this is Mabel's house. This area, or at least her house, I placed, you know, fairly early on, once I got the museum sort of settled down here. But the decorating didn't take place until like the very end. Like, um, I distinctly remember some of the last things I worked on were the resident services area and this area back here, because I just kept neglecting to decorate it. It is sort of a smaller area. I mean, you've got a lot of paths here, and so you only have like a 2 by 2 sort of swath over here to decorate it, and just a little bit along the edge of the cliff here. So it just kind of got neglected because I didn't really have a ton of ideas. And even towards the end, I was like, I'm just gonna throw a few random things that I have still in my inventory. Call it a day. um, so this is Mabel's house. As you can tell, this isn't her original house. I did redo all of the villager houses on this island, and I had a lot of fun doing most of them. So if there are anybody in their houses, you might go explore one or two. There's especially some of them I'm really fond of, like Daisy and Molly's house, of course, because Daisy is amazing. Um, ooh, secret beach down here. This is Sherb's secret napping spot. Um, Sherb lives right over here. We'll see him in a sec and maybe go visit his house if he's in it. But again, secret beaches are not my forte. I usually just put a couple of pirate barrels back here and call it a day. But I just thought, okay, this is kind of hidden away. What if we sort of made it like a secret spot for sure to go like have snacks and take naps? So in my mind, it's called Sherb's Secret Nap Spot. It is on my custom map as well, um, by the incredible at Lunar Crossing, by the way. Um, but if you didn't know that, you probably wouldn't be able to tell. You'd just think, you know, it's a nice area to sit and lay down. I don't think we're going to lay down there, just because this video is already long. I should have warned y'all. This is probably going to be a long video. I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of things to say, which is very unusual compared to real life when I usually have nothing to say. So this is the campsite area. Um, sort of, like I said, we're sort of working our way through, at least right now, the areas the way I worked on them as I was creating the islands. So this kind of came after the museum. I really, as I was looking at this area up here, I didn't do a ton of terraforming to this area. So the cliff structure is mostly intact the way it was original to the island. So I was looking at this area, of course, littered with flowers and trees, and I'm like, what am I going to do up here? So I thought, what if I just put the campsite up here? If I put it back here, and it's got this great, gorgeous view of the ocean, I thought that would be really cool. So that's how the campsite was born. So you do just have, this sort of nice area, some nice flowers and decorations, a lovely little picnic spot here, because I think, if you're going camping, you need some place to sit down and eat. And we do have just a little bit of nice decoration over here and some waterscaping that, isn't going to win any awards anytime soon. If I wanted to include a little bit of water up here, I felt like, it very naturally went with the campsite um, sort of thing. So that's the campsite. I love this little pond, or this little cove, the butterfly pond. I think this is one of, like, the only places, unfortunately, I got to use it. I think at this point, I'm close to like halfway done with the island, and I'm like, I still haven't used this code yet. So I threw it up here, and I wish I could have used it more, but it is kind of small, so I found it hard to justify using it in other places, because while it does take up 4 spaces, it just doesn't have a huge grand effect. I do love the code, though. Just gorgeous. So down here, if we go this way, this is Miss Lily's house. This was another fun area to create, especially off to the right here with this little flower field, one of my favorite areas on the island. Just, the little bits of waterscaping, the water. I always like putting really close to the water. I don't know, have I made that observation before? I feel like I've said that before. Anyway, I loved how this flower field turned out. I did this flower field way before the flower field on the beach that we saw earlier. And I wanted to go, obviously, I believe all these flowers are pretty much white versions of the flowers at least. So I kind of just went monochromatic here, and I love the effect that it achieved. Again, this is another area where I have some really nice pictures. But then we do have Lily's house over here. I did struggle a little bit with decorating sort of like her front yard area here. I wanted to try and obviously continue with the more natural vibe that you have up here. But I do have this little sort of violin practice area. I don't know, I felt like she would be sort of a person that would love music. So that's what I did there. Let's go see the inside of Lily's house. Unfortunately, I think this is one of the last villager houses that I redecorated. So it might not be one of my best works as far as villager house redoing. Oh gosh, yeah, I don't remember this at all. I do not remember this. This is nice. But I don't remember doing this at all. I think this is pretty similar to what her original, because I think that wallpaper is original to her layout, I believe, or at least from what memory serves me. Hello? I can't talk to you? Okay. Oh, that's very sweet, Lily. Aw, I love Lily. How can you not love the little froggy girl? So yeah, we're gonna go visit another villager house, because I mean that's nice, but I don't remember that. Like I said, it's crazy what things you remember and what things you don't. Oh, there's Maple. Hey, Maple. I missed you. Yes, it is like a dream. We're gonna go back here and visit Sherb's house real quick. Because it kind of dead ends back here. Sherb's house area was one of the last planned areas I did on the island. He was the last house I placed. And so I just wanted to sort of continue with a very natural vibes. You know, we have flowers and weeds and trees, and like I said, it does dead end right here. And it's weird because you can sort of see here at the very edge. I stopped decorating. There's a bit of area up there on that cliff that I didn't decorate at all, and it's blocked off, so you can't really tell too much. But it just felt so weird because I'm not used to blocking off areas like that, not having to decorate them. Like I said, I really like to just give it my all if I can. Yeah, fun fact about that. I love this little river area that Sherb has here. I think it's very soothing and relaxing. And it was definitely sort of the intent with my design here to sort of, we can have this path in the woods here, but then closer to the river, we have this nice area where you can really enjoy nature and just sit and relax. And then of course, Baby Sherb has his own little wheat field back here. These are the only crops that I have on the island. I didn't do any because I didn't set out doing that. This island, you know, is very elegant core island. But those are the only crops on the island, so if you need food, go to Sherb. Sherb's house is really cute. See, his house is adorable. I did sort of, you know, when I redecorated, I went for very soft colors and vibes. I just wanted it to be, you know, very something Sherb would just enjoy. So I loved, you know, using the striped wallpaper. That's not something I use very often. And just, you know, the carpet to make things nice and soft. Gotta have, you know, a little bit of a kitchen area over here. Obviously, I feel like I didn't do this. This might have just been out because he was probably working on a DIY, would be my guess. Because I don't always include DIY crafting stations in my villager houses, even though I know they'll use them. Bye, Sherb. So that's Sherb's cute little house. He's got his little play area back there, so I really loved that for him. You know, I do have a couple of other lazies on the islands, like Eric and Bo. But for some reason, Sherb I think he was one of the closer to the beginning of houses that I redid. So I just, you know, wanted to give him that sort of play area. So this area is just really kind of a filler area. It doesn't really have a specific name or any really specific intentions with it. It was towards the end of my decorating, so you know, it is what it is. But it's a lovely little bit of filler area, especially I think this area up here on the cliff looks rather nice. I've got some nice pictures up there. We do have this lovely little pond over here. I wanted to include some sort of water, but I didn't really want to go to the trouble of like water escaping here for some reason. So I just did the pond, which I love that item, so I think it worked out really well. It sort of gives this little area a little bit of a foresty, mystical vibe, if you will. I think that's kind of what I was going for. But over here, okay, well, let's take a look at this little area back here first. Again, this is nothing special. Again, it's just a bit of filler, and it's a nice, lovely place to sit, that's for sure. We've got the waterfalls up here. You can see the flowers right here. I thought I got rid of more of those. Oh well. You can see that up there that I didn't great. But anyways, that's that. Now we're going to go explore this little lovely house area. Okay, Molly is in our house. Daisy is not, unfortunately. But Molly, I do believe, has a lovely little house set up that we'll visit real quick. I just want to take a look at this sort of grand house area. Originally, I had wanted this to sort of be this great grand perspective sort of house build, which is why I put all three houses together. You know, I've seen people do like 2 or 3 houses like that. Usually they're resident houses, and not villager houses. Um, but this area is what I had originally, been going for. I, I'm not, I'm happy with how it looks, but I do wish I had gotten a place where I could have gotten better sort of perspective photos. There's not a great area where you can sort of get centered and get the full effect. I mean, even this back here is not centered, and you're losing the perspective of the build there. So it was a try. A little bit of a fail in my mind. Like I said, it still looks nice, but I did have much bigger plans for the area originally. And again, this sort of plaza area is another area. I just really struggled with the plaza areas on this island. Just sort of ended up feeling empty to me. Um, so, yeah. Let's look at Molly's house, and that'll make us feel better. Yes. See, this is a very elegant. She has her piano and her violin in the corner. Lily might do the violin, but Molly's full on hardcore practicing the music. I just thought it was really a lovely little area, very sophisticated, like I said. And we, of course, have a little bookshelf here for Molly to read from. But it's a nice separation of the room and, her little bed over here. And then we do have a little area to write letters over here. I love using this desk in this sort of setting. I definitely feel like it adds some elegance, that antique desk there. Hi, Molly. I miss you. So that's Molly's house. One of the favorite houses I redid. One of the ones I redid. There's Daisy. Hi, baby girl. Delighted that I did. Me too. And there I am again. That's creepy. Let's go explore my house now. I definitely have some thoughts on the rooms in my house. I'm proud of about 3, 4, maybe if you combine all the other bits of the rooms I'm not as proud of. One of the rooms I am proud of is this front room. I definitely had originally envisioned when you stepped into the house this sort of ethereal sort of feel, even though that was not really my intent for the rest of the island. I would love to do sort of like a celestial, theme one day. I think at Mika Crossing is doing a sort of theme like that right now, which I'm very excited to see. But yeah, I just really love this room. I love how the hanging moss up here. It was something I added towards the end, but I think it just took it up to the next level. And then yeah, I wanted it to sort of, along with the sort of ethereal vibes, I did want it to sort of be like a gateway. So you can sort of, with the columns, see it sort of sectioning off the room. Like you can go to the right, you can go to the left, or continue forward with your journey. So that, like I said, I just really proud of this room. I even got the opportunity to have at Genesis Crossing over to sort of explore the house, and she even did a little bit of a photo shoot in that first room with her newest custom design in there. So that was really cool to think that she was so amazed by that room. So this is the little dining room. This was one of the last rooms I did in the house. So it's not one of the rooms I'm as proud of. I think it's good for the space, but it's very simplistic, if you will. Obviously, this table and the chairs take up a lot of room, but I find it tough to do a table without chairs. um, so I had to include them all. And we do have a little spot of tea here, and I don't know if that's peach pie or what that is exactly. It's probably just whatever I had in my inventory at the time, to be honest. Um, so yeah, this is the dining room. Lots of I definitely wanted a light and airy vibe in here. So lots of greenery and lots of like the wedding bouquets on the wall. I really loved using those as I kept designing my house. I'm like, I felt like they were really vibing with the house. So I started using them more and more while I was decorating my house, and I wish I would have almost discovered it sooner because I just really loved how they looked. I don't think they would have added anything out here, um, but it was just a fun little design thing there. So back here, we have another room that I'm fairly proud of. This is the second room I did in my house. This idea, I don't know, just sort of came to me one day. I don't really like doing outdoor spaces inside. I don't know if I've mentioned that before. It's just something that I don't feel that I'm very good at. So while I love using these like outdoorsy wallpapers as like faux, using them behind faux windows, I don't generally just put them all up in a room. But I wanted to sort of do like a little balcony backyard picnic sort of area, um, but keep it, classy and elegant. So this is what I came up with. And then it was great because I got to use the rose trellis coat in here because I had only ever used that in the entrance of the island. So I was glad I had it for another use and not just, that one, two simple panels at the beginning of my island. Oh, whoops, I didn't even know you could get behind there. So I do really enjoy how this area turned out. This is obviously supposed to be a bit more of like the deck area back here. And then the wooden partition here is supposed to sort of be like the railing separating everything. And then you have the lovely little table and chairs over here with your sugar cubes. And you can just enjoy the rustic columns and the bird bath and the birds and the sounds of nature everywhere. So I did really enjoy designing that room. Like I said, it's not something that I do very often in creating outdoor spaces inside a house, but maybe I'll try it a little bit more often. Time will only tell. Haven't done it yet, I don't believe. But I have not touched either of my houses on my current islands right now. So this room is sort of the living room, the salon, if you will. Um, it's again one of the, I think it was the last room I completed in the house. Um, and I got a lot of inspiration for this room from pictures I found on Pinterest, especially framing like the fireplace like this. I definitely wanted it, while still being elegant, I wanted it to feel very cozy and warm. And I also wanted to include a grand piano here as a nod for my love of piano and music and just everything classy. And then I thought this was, really cool using this cool bed as like a chaise lounge. I just thought, the design of that is like pretty much perfect for it. So I really loved adding that in, and I thought that just definitely added a touch of elegance as well. So that's the living room, one of the last rooms, like I said, in the house. And something I felt okay with. It wasn't like my favorite room in the house, but something I kind of enjoyed, especially as a last minute sort of thing. I thought it went pretty well with that. So, okay, we have upstairs and downstairs still. This is my bedroom and bathroom upstairs. Obviously, we have a picture of my sweet Daisy here. I only got a few villager photos on this island. Of course, that wasn't really, my main goal to collect them. I think maybe I got one from Maple too. I'm not sure, but I only got a couple of them. But I got Daisy's towards the end, and I thought, oh, it would be perfect to include it, in my bedroom. I really love how the bed turned out here. Again, heavily inspired by Pinterest, this sort of framing. I thought it made it feel very elegant. I wish I could have like, I should have added some drapery or something up here between the pillars to sort of like frame it as, you know, one of those big monstrous 4-poster beds. That would have really been cool, but too late for that now. Maybe I'll do that on Rose Hill. um, but I do really love how the bed turned out. Like I said, I love how it was framed. It offered, you know, a lot of room for putting, you know, decor and just things to make it feel classy. I have a little dresser over here, mainly because I was just looking for things to fill up space. And then, of course, we have the bathroom over here. Not my finest bedroom-bathroom combination, but we do have this, you know, I felt like I had to include this bathtub. You know, it feels very fancy and sophisticated. I do have a shower right here, too, because I'm definitely more of a shower person. And then this lovely vanity. Obviously, it's the fancy vanity mirror combo here. So I thought, you know, I have to include that in the bathroom as well. How can you not include that in a bathroom in an Ellicott Island? So that is my bedroom and bathroom. Again, in an area that I was okay with. But, you know, not one of my prouder rooms. This room down here, though, was so much fun. This, my friends, is throne room. Again, harkening back to the lovely video that I Want Peaches did of Avonlea, it just I had never originally set out to do a throne room. I want to make that clear. It's something I might very well do again on Rose Hill, but when I had envisioned Avonlea, I didn't want to specifically be like a princess or anything like that. I just wanted it to be fancy and elegant. But then, you know, I was just looking for inspiration. I'm like, what am I gonna do, you know, in my top floor room to my bottom floor? I knew obviously I was probably gonna do a bedroom of sorts on the top floor, but down in the basement I was really struggling. So I found these fancy windows first. I found the codes for them, and they're absolutely incredible. If you're ever looking for the codes for any of my designs, they are all in my Instagram highlights, pretty much all of them. There's a few that were missing, especially like from Ashland 2.0 I didn't quite get, but most of them should be in there. So I found these windows, and I think I sort of found inspiration from like this sort of framing with the pillars and the counters from other builds. So I'm like, what if I put like a throne in front of a wall of these windows and these pillars? I thought it would be very majestic. So I did. And that's how the throne room came to be. So again, I don't really, especially on Avonlea, envision myself being a princess or anything like that. It is quite a fun room. And it's a room that I hope if people are visiting are having fun taking pictures in. But it was just sort of a thing that, as a result of finding this and finding inspiration here and there, that sort of just came to be, and it was a great use of this space down here. So like I said, so much fun to build this throne room. But it wasn't really my vision to be a princess or anything like that on this island. Something I'm kind of leaning more towards on Rose Hill as I'm working on it. But time will tell on that as well. So that is my house. We are getting closer to the end of the tour, thank goodness. I know y'all are probably bored to death by now. This is, like I said, it's quite a long video, but I have some thoughts. So I understand if you just want to turn off your device or whatever you're watching on right now. This area, though, you should really see first before you leave, because it's one of my greatest view areas on Avonlea, if you will. This area was sort of like in the middle, towards the end. I was maybe like 60% done with the island. And I'm like, I really kind of want to try and do a little bit of a something with, you know, that would be a nice sort of view. And so that's how this came to be. I knew I wanted my house back against the cliff back there because I wanted to create this grand perspective, like I said. But in between, I had this sort of area right here, and I'm like, what am I going to do with it? So I'm like, this could be a great area to do some sort of something different from, you know, what I'm very comfortable with. So that's how this area came to be. Um, it's such a lovely area. I have a lot of great pics from this area as well. I can say a lot of things. Like I said, I'm not one for bragging or self-promotion. It's always been something that's been really tough for me to do, but I love the tree in the center. I knew I wanted a focal point, obviously, so the tree was it, because I thought it had worked really well. And the entrance has some lovely flowers out front, and then we just have some little mini waterfalls that sort of feed into this circular sort of contained river. So I really kind of loved that design. It was not too complicated to do, so I was glad. um, but it was just really, really lovely. It's mostly, well, it's not quite symmetrical. I was going to say it's symmetrical, but there's only 2 waterfalls on this side, and I believe there's 3 on the other side, and I think there's a bit more like land up there in the northeastern corner. But this area is quite lovely. It's one of my favorite places to set, and yeah, that's that area. There's no specific, other than I just wanting to do something there, there's no really specific rhyme or reason to that area. This area over here is a bit of filler area, especially over here on the left side. I just wanted to add some dimension, so I did the cliffs over here, and I thought I should probably have some sort of water source that's feeding this little area over here. So I needed to go up a level to really do that. Plus I wanted a bridge leading to my house. That's really the reason I wanted to do this. I wanted a bridge leading to my house. So yeah. This is mainly just filler area. I do like how it turned out, especially for filler area. It felt pretty good. Oh, this is about, like I mentioned way before in the video, this is about where the heart pond was originally in the island layout, but I did have to obviously tear it down to make room for, you know, this area. I think it was about here. I remember cutting this path up and tearing that pond up about the same time. So I think it was in that area. So, lovely little area right there. This down here is Petra's house. He's one of the cutest little duckies in the world, besides Molly. Let's venture back here to Bo's house. I had to remember which deer it was. I knew it was either Bo or Eric. This area I had originally intended to do a little bit more decorating, but I was just struggling with what else I should put on the path. Probably should have put like a leaf pile or something. So I just put this little destination signpost here. I felt like, you know, it is kind of a crossroads of sorts. So that's how that area came to be. And then I just sort of decorated this area back here, like I said. Bo's yard over here. I do think we're going to skip his house, the inside, for the sake of time. But he has a lovely little house too. So this is Bo's house. If you dream of Avonlea, come visit him. He loves this earth. I love that this is along the river too. I don't know, I just feel like, you know, when I like doing villager houses. I know I said especially for Lily, but I like doing villager houses close to, you know, places where they can get nice viewpoints. I don't know, maybe it's just me being empathetic or something. But yeah. So this is sort of just a nice little, it's a bit of filler area. It's just a lovely little walkway. I was sort of inspired in this area by, you know, like Regency area, just when people would take walks and promenade in parks and stuff. That was sort of a little bit of the inspiration behind here. I knew I had the river here, so I wanted just a nice place where you could just kind of sit and again enjoy nature. Sort of like up by Sherv's house, kind of the same idea there. So that's how this area came to be. And it's another probably favorite area on the island. So I really enjoy it. So now we are about to hit Nook's Cranny. Again, another little plaza area, another area I struggled with filling with things. A lot of benches, and my poor attempts at a little coffee station here. I hope y'all got the reference there. Coffee cup, a little um, teapot there. But I didn't have like any custom codes or anything, or even any, well, I did have room. But I've never been good with like building like little like shops like some people do. So I just put a little like coffee stand area there. And then we have the little park clock over here, which is not an item I use very often, but I wish I could use more. I just thought it looked nice there, and it did take up a little bit of space. So I put it right there. So over here, this sort of leads us back to Petra's house. It is a bit of filler area, but it is an area where I wanted to do some semi-nice water safety, or about as good as probably I get. We do have this little pond area. It's got a nice view from the front as well over by the train. But it's sort of a nice little history back there. It has some safety features. So it's a good place to hide. But yeah, that's that area. Mostly just filler. And again, this area over here is sort of an area where I know it's small, but I just wanted to add a little bit of dimension instead of keeping it flat. And it also sort of helps frame this path here to give it a bit more of prominence there. So we will take a quick gander at the beaches on this side of the island. There's little Olive. Hi, baby girl. This is probably my favorite spot on the beaches on this side of the island, the beach cafe here. I do hope y'all will visit. We serve lots of yummy goodies, or at least in my mind. We do have a gorgeous view of this little waterfall over here. So it's a lovely little area. Again, more of an attempt to sort of fill space, but it did turn out quite nice, and this is, I think, probably the only opportunity I got to use this wooden board code. But I knew I wanted to use that somewhere, so I did it here. Over here we have a nice little sort of fountain, quiet area. This turned out quite nice, and I just really enjoyed the like quiet vibes it gave me. I don't know why, because obviously the water is rushing. But that's that area. We have Captain's little area over here, pretty simple. I wasn't really sure what to do for him on this island because I, was trying to stick with the elegant theme. So I just put kind of a few little fancy things, little doily lace rug here, which is one of the only areas I actually got to use it on the island, which made me sad. But it's kind of a small rug. So as we go down the rest of the beach here, this will mainly be kind of like ruinous areas. I had a lot of columns and pillars left over. So I used them here on this side of the beach. We do have a little telescope here. You can observe the stars at night as the sun is setting. It's a nice little area right there. I thought kind of went well with the rest of the pillars and stuff. And then as we continue along, like I said, lots of pillars and ruined items. Sort of just framing the path. Very basic, like I said. This was one of the last areas I did on the island. So I was really running out of ideas, especially beach ideas. But it turned out alright, I think. And, obviously I know not everybody does their beaches, so I gotta pat myself on the back for even trying. So that is pretty much all the beaches. We do have one little one down by Eric's house that we will explore here. But we are almost done with the tour. Yay! I bet y'all are just jumping up and down. Again, I apologize. I knew this was going to be a long video. I wasn't quite anticipating it being this long. But obviously I have thoughts and things that I just, kind of are coming back to me. It's nice to explore this island. A lot is as I remember it. There are some things that I don't remember as much. But it's fun to see, even how much I've grown since I've finished this island, which hasn't been too long ago. So this beach area, again, one of the last beach areas I did, but this land area up here was done much sooner. I think about halfway through the island, I was like, okay, what am I going to do with this area on the left side of the entrance? Because this is just to the left of the entrance. So I do have some beautiful photos of when, this beach stuff wasn't here, and it's just really focused on, like, the cliffs up here. Again, a very wooded, natural vibe. I love using all of the flowers up there. I just thought, the tiered look, it was, I have some lovely photos of that area. And then, of course, right here we have Eric's house. He's sort of like the beach keeper, the lifeguard, if you will. um, yeah, so that's sort of his job, to look over the beach. I knew I had originally, just mainly for the sake of space, really, had wanted to put one villager house, if not two, down here. So I think Eric won because his house was already kind of down here in this area. I think that's why I did it. Oh no, now I remember. I had like 2 or 3 houses sitting on the beach here, and his was one of them, I think. So I think his was probably just the first one I moved back here. I think Molly was living down here for a time, and then I moved her up by me. That's why he won the lifekeeper job. Oh goodness, so that's that area. I do enjoy the little bit of waterscaping that I did right over there. A nice little waterfall that leads to that little river, stream, pond, whatever you would like to call it. You see, the only time I really used castle items on the island right here on this little teeny tiny bridge, if you will, land-made bridge. I had, when I had started the island, envisioned using them a lot more, but then I just never got around to using them. Something I still struggle with to this day is sort of like creating buildings, faux buildings, creating that sort of effect with those kinds of items. It's something I'm working on, but it's just something that I don't do very often. So that was the only place I got to use them, on the island. This is Olive's little plaza. Hi, Daisy. It's pretty simple. Again, have just a nice little pond here. I wanted her to have, a little bit of greenery because all of this is stone, so I couldn't really have many trees in the area or even flowers for that matter. I wanted some natural element. So this is what she got. She got a pond. This is sort of Olive's bookstore too, or library. I got one of those letters that they send us in game, pretty early on in the game. That, she wanted to live in a library. It would be so cool. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to make her one. When I finally unlock the ability to do that, to edit villager houses, and that's what I did. So I was really happy to get to that. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, the resident services area here. Oh, there's Fauna. Hi, Fauna. Back to my original sentence. The resident services area was like literally one of the last spaces I decorated for so long. Again, it was sort of a holding space for some flowers, but I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do with the area. Decoration wise, I'm like, do I want to create any special sort of areas, or is it just mainly natural? And in the end, I just sort of went with that natural look. This gazebo, however, this island here was done much earlier in the game. I had wanted to obviously use a gazebo. I felt that went perfectly with the elevated core theme of the island. So I kind of got the idea, okay, what if I do like a sort of like little island? We can put it on the island and it'll be the focal point of that. So that's what this is. Again, kind of simplistic with the rest of the decoration on this island, but it's a great place to sit. You've got lots of water views for sure. There's a waterfall over here. There's lots of lake and rivers surrounding you on all sides, that is for sure. And then this little bridge over here takes us to Fauna's house. She's got a lovely little tea party set up here. This is one of the cutest little areas I loved decorating. I don't know, something about this I just really enjoyed the tea party vibes there. I just really loved that. So this is her house, her area, very natural like the rest of the area kind of over here in this corner. But I do love this area as well. It's one of the first things I decorated in this sort of squat. And I've got again, some gorgeous pictures of this area. It's great for taking pictures at night as well. You can see lots of sky there. So one of my other favorite sort of secret spots on the island, you wouldn't really know it if you're not looking for views everywhere you go. But I did really enjoy that area, and like I said, it was kind of the first part of the area over here I decorated. So, alright, my friend, that was a long one, but I think we hit up all the great spots. Thank you for hanging in there with me. If you even made it this far. Maybe nobody is listening. Honestly, a video this long, I am expecting people to probably only watch for a couple of minutes. So you're probably not even listening to this right now. But if you are, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my thoughts and crazy ramblings on my lovely, elegant core island of Avonlea. I will be back at y'all with probably more normal teenage next week. But anyways, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. If you like my normal videos, or even if you like this video, like I said, I would love to do more sort of introspective videos like this. Maybe not my own island, but just hearing more thoughts from creators on their ideas and thought processes behind how they design their islands. Some people always have an incredible story to tell with their islands. So, anyways, thank y'all, and I will see you again next week. Bye.